NASCAR Nationwide Series at the 7/8 of a mile, Iowa Speedway. A beautiful track packed with fans, as always, on a pretty windy Sunday afternoon. Getting ready for the command to start engines just moments from now. Let's zero in on some topics that we'll see and watch for during the course of today's race. First of them, bumps in between turns 1 and 2 and how they'll affect the drivers at speed.
Well, it certainly makes a huge difference at this racetrack whenever you talk about the track and the style of track. They happen just as you're trying to get back into the gas down in 1 and 2, and it makes the drivers pretty uncomfortable at times. If you get in the gas a little too soon, it can really be troublesome.
Now, these bumps are not just inconvenient. These babies are tough. They move that car around. You have to set up for them. The drivers have to change their driving style a little bit for them. So these bumps can cause a lot of problems, and we saw a few problems in this end of the racetrack in practice.
It's Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and watch as we go on board his car during practice. Oops.
Yeah, these drivers tell me if you want to get in the gas quick, but if you get in it too soon, hit those bumps, then you lose the front end. Next thing you know, you can't get out of gas soon enough to keep from getting into the wall.
Sam Hornish, oops. By the way, those are two of the top 3 qualifiers for this race that had trouble and got into the outside wall off of turn number 2. Rusty Wallace designed this racetrack, and he designed it to be like what many, including you, call the perfect short track for stock cars.
Yeah, and who better to design a racetrack for drivers than one of the greatest short track drivers of all time, Rusty Wallace. And you can see the comparisons there, but these drivers talk about the comparisons on the racetrack and the setups that they have to run, and they realize just how competitive the races are at Richmond. That's why they love this place.
Yeah, this track is also similar a little bit to Phoenix. It's a short track with speed. Both these tracks have speed. All 3 of these tracks have some speed involved too, so it's a short track with all the speed involved too.
Hopefully, we see a trend continue today where the NASCAR Nationwide Series is concerned of fabulous finishes.
3 weeks ago in Richmond, Virginia, Denny Hamlin, Kurt Busch battling it out here. Kurt Busch able to get the win.
And how about Talladega? 4 cars fighting it out right to the line.
It was a good one. And we showed you the turmoil at the end of the Darlington race last Friday where Elliott Sadler got turned around. Joey Logano held off Denny Hamlin and scored the win. Well, last time the Nationwide Series raced here, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was leading. Coming to the checkered flag, the engine let go. Carl Edwards couldn't see to get around him and pass him, and instead crashed him across the start-finish line for the win. That's the way the last Nationwide Series race finished here at Iowa. I don't know what we're going to see today, but if it's that exciting, we'll take it. Time to go trackside for the command to start engines and get today's race underway here at Iowa Speedway.
And now, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome Business Director for Pioneer, Todd Frazier.
Drivers, start your engines.
Looks like you both got like a higher set, so I'm not sure what you're doing. Actually, the 40's only got 1 set, so they may not be running the whole race. Yeah, it won't crank. Over. You get a copy? You got a little bit. They take the tires off their other cars. Yeah, but again.
Almost ready to go at Iowa Speedways for some good old Sunday afternoon short track racing for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Remember to check out Race Buddy enhanced coverage for select Nationwide Series races with more cameras than ever. Log on to NASCARNationwideSeries.com/RaceBuddy. In a moment, our ESPN in-race reporter will be rolling out onto his home track, this time aboard Richard Petty's number 43. Des Moines native Michael Annett sets off in search of a huge win, and he'll talk with us about it on the parade and pace laps next from the Iowa Speedway. The field has just begun to roll from the pit lane of the Iowa Speedway out onto this 7/8 mile track for the parade and pace laps before the start of the Pioneer 250, race number 10 of the 2012 season for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. There is Iowa native Michael Annett, our ESPN in-race reporter today. Michael's family has a long history of involvement in the sport of auto racing. You could say that Michael's been around it since he was just a little kid.
It looked like he knew kind of what he wanted to do from the start here.
Absolutely. His passion, a lifelong one. And Michael starting in the 18th position today in Richard Petty's famous 43.
Hey, Michael, Dale Jarrett, ESPN. You have a copy?
4, Dale.
Hey, Michael, appreciate you talking with us today. And our first question is our mailbag question. And I know you would like to win anywhere, but Aaron in Carrollton, Ohio asked, do you want to win more at your home track in front of your friends and family?
Oh, definitely. This is definitely this race, and when we come back in August are the two for
for sure circle on the calendar, and you know, I've been telling everybody this week, I think this is the best opportunity I've had ever coming in here to Iowa Speedway to get a win in front of these awesome fans here.
Hey, Michael, we've noted on ESPN through our nationwide coverage your aggressive style starting back at Daytona, and it's really been fun to watch you drive this race car this year. But starting from that 18th spot today, is that the kind of driving it's going to take to get yourself in a position to win this race?
It's definitely going to take that to win it. Obviously, we're going to be smart here in the beginning. 250 laps is one of the longer races we run here in the series. So, you know, we got to be smart. You got to have a car with fenders on it left at the end to win this thing. But it's gonna take some aggressive moves to get there to victory lane.
All right, Michael, thanks again for talking with us. Hope you can make your friends and family that are here watching happy here today. Good luck. Talk to you later.
Thanks.
Michael Annette, our ESPN in-race reporter for the day. The jackman for Michael's 43 car, Kevin Wing, is going to carry our over-the-wall camera today. Have a great day down there, Kevin. Maybe you could help Michael get that first Nationwide Series win today. Onboard cameras here at Iowa. Elliott Sadler has got our Chevrolet on board from pole position today. Austin Dillon has got the Goodyear on board. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. with our Nationwide Insurance camera. Danica Patrick, the GoDaddy.com camera. Sam Hornish Jr., the Dodge on board. Michael Annette's camera is the Ford EcoBoost. Look today, Kurt Busch has the Nationwide Insurance camera, and Travis Pastrana with a Toyota onboard camera. Some great looks for us today at Iowa Speedway. And you can join in the conversation throughout the course of the race on Twitter at NASCAR ESPN. Our folks will be going back and forth with you, and we'd be very interested to hear what you have to say. Now, you heard some of the drivers mention, and you can see by looking at that big American flag, the wind is something that bears watching during the course of this race.
Yeah, that wind is a completely different direction, and it's very, very strong. And that's going to make a big change in how fast these cars enter the corner. On both ends of the track, they're going to be going in turn one a lot faster than they were yesterday, what they had practiced for it. And the same thing on turn three. They're going to be going in there a lot slower. It's going to be a change for them.
Yeah, and another thing, down in turn one, where we talked about that bump, the problem they have is the front end pushing off of turn two then. That's going to only enhance that problem that they may have there.
As we get set to come to the green, Travis Pastrana's team on the radio.
Kick the tires, light the fires. Let's get going, guys. Thank you for everyone's help get me here. I know it was more of a last-minute deal. Robbie, everyone at RAB, thanks for giving me this car, man. I love drive.
He's going to get a chance to race again at Iowa Speedway. Raced here last night. Pastrana and the others get ready to go in what would be one more lap from right now. 250 laps here. Andy tire that Goodyear brought for this race, slightly different than what's been used here the last couple of years. The compound, the hardness or softness of the tires the same, but the construction's different. What's it going to mean for the strategy or for the drivers and teams?
Well, I've talked to some of the crew chiefs, and they think this tire, it's going to fall off speed-wise a little bit as you run it, but if you have a caution and are able to cool them down, they'll come back. The speed will come back. There's going to be some opportunities for strategy, and I think if you see short runs, especially early, I don't think you're going to see everybody on pit road changing tires.
And the man to watch in the opening laps will be Kurt Busch in Brother Kyle's 54, dropping to the back of the field because someone else qualified the car yesterday while he was in Charlotte for the All-Star race. We know he's got a good car, DJ, but does he have to be careful?
He's going to have to be somewhat careful, yeah. And because he talked about this being a long race, he has time to make all of this happen, and there's room to make passes on this racetrack. But along with being careful, we know Kurt Busch's style. He likes to be aggressive, and we'll see that at some point.
Charge! Well, we'll see how quickly Kurt's able to charge into the top 10, whether there's any trouble along the way, and what happens at the front of the field with Elliott Sadler trying to make up some lost ground and lost momentum. Sam Hornish, one of the championship contenders alongside on the front row, and the man who's won the last two straight at Iowa inside of row number 2, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Fans on their feet, green flags in the air, racing at Iowa.
Three wide, clear outside.
Up front, Stenhouse Jr. to the inside of Sadler while Hornish goes to the point.
A little contact between the 2 and the 6 there as they came to the stripe.
Look, Elliott got a good start right off the initial green, but did not get up to speed through 1 and 2 as good as the other 2 cars did.
Well, I've seen this outside working awfully early. A lot of these drivers told me they thought that would happen, that this racetrack would widen out where you could move the groove up, but we're seeing it right from the beginning here.
Well, Elliott's got that outside groove now on Ricky Stenhouse, but wow, Stenhouse using all of his lane.
Yeah, a little shimmy going on that front end there, right from the center of the corner out. He was fighting that all the way. Justin Allgaier, 31, hanging in there as well, running in 4th. No one would be surprised to see Sam Hornish Jr. win this race in that 12.
No, not at all. And we heard Sam talk about that similarities of Phoenix, as Andy pointed out, to this racetrack where he won last November. So, and he ran really, really well here last year.
Some of the things Sam's got to watch out for, though, is contact. He's made contact with the wall already this weekend, and we've seen when he's fast, sometimes he gets against that wall. 3 wide.
3 wide. Allgaier with a move to the inside of Stenhouse in the 6. When Stenhouse came off turn 4 last time, that white piece of paper blew up on that grill opening on his car. We'll see if he's able to get it to fly back off.
Yeah, I think it just blew off there, Alan. It probably helped. Those 2 cars right in front of him probably helped that to get loose.
This is as good as we've seen Allgaier, especially early on in a race.
Well, that was a power move to take that opportunity to go by both of them, get himself up to second.
For the lead, Sadler dipping to the inside. Sorry, that was for second. On Allgaier, we look back on Darrell Wallace Jr. 20 car, hanging in 7th spot.
Wow, here goes Allgaier. He's still on the move.
Yeah, he pulled the swap over move that we've seen, the crossover. See if Sadler can come back and make the same move back on him. Looks like that's exactly what's going to happen.
3 position changes in basically 1 lap there.
Not sure that Allgaier, well, he wanted to make that, but as he tried to get back to the throttle, that bump got his rear tires out from under him a little.
And Stenhouse to his inside to grab a spot.
Yeah, while these cars are racing each other, they're going to have some company behind them. Comes Austin Dillon sneaking into the picture, and it's like Michael McDowell.
McDowell in the Gibbs 18 today.
And Sam Hornish loving what he's seeing in his mirror as he looks back.
All right, what about Kurt Busch's early progress from the back of the field?
He's only passed about half of them, I think, Al.
Yeah, I've been watching him, though, and he's really taking his time. If you can say making up that many spots in this short amount of time is taking your time, but he's really been methodical and really not taking any chances to get to this point.
So Kurt cracks the top 20 in the opening 9 laps of the race. Sam Hornish Jr., the only leader of the event so far, got out in front of pole sitter Elliott Sadler on the first lap and has gapped him by about 1.5 seconds. Early on in today's NASCAR Nationwide Series 250 lapper at the Iowa Speedway, Sam Hornish Jr. out in front in Roger Penske's number 12 Dodge. He's got about 0.7 of a second on quickly closing Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in 2nd spot in that bright red number 6. Elliott Sadler back now in 3rd position as that fight for 2nd has settled down somewhat. Sadler and Stenhouse racing for that number 2 spot in the opening laps got pretty close.
Yeah, in the very first lap here. This is off of turn 4 to complete the first lap.
Good job, man. Nice work, Sam.
A little contact there.
It's your mark, Spud. Work that hard.
So Stenhouse through to 2nd, Sadler 3rd, and then Sadler on his team's radio in the opening laps.
Different air pressure, front air pressure. It's there for, buddy. Start it a little lower. Please tell me next time.
Yeah, he didn't have what he expected to start the race, and I guess Luke Lambert forgot to tell him they dropped that air pressure a little bit in the front.
Yeah, and as a driver, you know, you have it in your mind how you started long runs yesterday in your race setup, and that's what you expect to have in the car. And when you don't have that, then you want an answer, and he got his.
So Sadler hanging in third. Leaders now running up onto some lap traffic. And beginning to work their way through some of the cars toward the tail end of the field. Also had about 8 cars go to the garage area in the early laps and call it quits after just a couple of circuits, the start and park, if you will. All right, so after the banging it out door-to-door racing in the opening laps up front for second, third, fourth, and fifth, that settled down a little bit. Look a little deeper into the top 10. Here's your first side-by-side. 30 car is Steve Arpin. 88 is Cole Witt. And right behind them, Parker Kligerman in the 22.
Danica Patrick was part of this group, but she's actually driven away from these 3 cars.
I saw Cole Witt on the very first lap make a pretty bold move down in 1 and 2. Took it 3 wide and made a couple of spots. But see Arpin there really get loose coming up out of turn 4 on the inside.
Love saving the beauty. And you will see, by the way, you notice all 3 of those cars in this group with the yellow stripes in the back bumper. First Nationwide Series race here at Iowa. Rookies, if you will, in this race. You'll see a lot of those in the field today.
Yeah, I was talking to Joe Ballas, series director. He said the rookie meeting was pretty crowded.
Yep. 88 car, Cole Witt. Hanging in there, Shannon. Right now it's running 10th.
Well, he certainly is hanging in there, Alan. The car free off, as you can see on the racetrack. He told me that during practice, he just couldn't get the feel for the car. The feel, I asked him, what exactly were you looking for? He said he wanted it on the free side, but when they went into qualifying, way too loose, and it's loose right now.
All right, Shannon, thanks. So back end getting a little wiggly on Cole Witt as he drives around this track.
Yeah, and as a driver, more than a free car, you want a car that rotates and turns to center. You don't, when you get in the gas, you want the car to be able to drive it straight up off the corner without putting a lot of wheel in it. But when it's too loose, you just can't be aggressive, especially on a racetrack like this.
Arpin going to try again to get through Cole Witt. Now they got company. Kurt Busch continuing his charge.
He won't be there long.
Yeah.
He's on a charge to the front. This 54 car is flying. I'm like you, Dale, though. I think he has been pretty methodical about this, probably because he's got confidence in his car and he knows he can get there.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Yeah, he's got a great race car and a lot of talent, and when you put those 2 together, then you can be a little bit more patient in these type situations. He might have to be that right here if these 2 settled out between themselves, Steve Arpin and Cole Witt. He might just pass them both at one time.
Or we'll do this. You can see from the in-car, he's not really solid on the wheel. Got a good handling race car.
At one point, Sam Hornish had a 2.5 seconds on second place. Now he's barely got a bumper.
I don't think any of us are surprised to see this 6 car up there, as we talked about. This is basically his race to lose. I mean, he was the man here last year in 2 races. No reason to think that he wouldn't be again today. He's had a terrific season to this point.
Watching the race for the lead in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, 250-lapper, Iowa Speedway in Newton, Iowa. Sam Hornish Jr. in the 12. Started outside the front row, has led all the laps so far. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., the defending series champ, and the man who won both races at this track a year ago, trying to take the lead away from him.
I don't think Sam's wanted to give this lead up. I think he likes it out front.
You know, sometimes you get forced into a position that Stenhouse got to his inside of being able to run on the outside. You find a little something that may actually work better for you. Stenhouse might be a little on the loose side and making it tougher for him to be down on the bottom trying to make this pass.
More lap traffic ahead for the leaders. 70 car, Johanna Long. And Stenhouse is going to get through.
Yeah, that groove's not quite there yet. Sam, I think, got in a little bit too hard and too high into turn 1, and that really opened up a lot of space for Ricky Stenhouse to take the lead.
So first lead change of the race, and Stenhouse is out in front. Mike?
This team obviously got a bit of a wake-up call earlier this weekend, Alan, when it slapped the wall, but it didn't rattle them one bit. I spoke with crew chief Mike Kelly this morning, and he told me, look, we weren't dominating in either one of the races last year. We went to victory lane. We feel like we're right on par. Stenhouse said at the beginning of this run the car was a little bit loose, but it has obviously come to them. Meanwhile, as for Sam Hornish, they're just telling him to continue doing what you're doing. Take care of your equipment. He's not pushing it too hard just yet.
All right, Mike, thanks. So updates on the top two there. As the first lead change of the race just completed, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. back to the point. Sam Hornish Jr. kicked back to second. Elliott Sadler, Justin Allgaier, Michael McDowell rounding out your top five. Caution free in the early going at Iowa. Stenhouse continuing to own this house. 31 is Justin Allgaier. 3 is Austin Dillon. They are racing for third spot, trying to get around Michael Annett in the 43 and Travis Pastrana in the 99.
Yeah, Justin Allgaier's been really aggressive in this traffic. You see Austin Dillon now trying to make the pass on Allgaier.
Pastrana is the second car, one lap down. Mike Bliss is up ahead of him, so there's not a free pass at stake. He might be about to become the third and fourth car one lap down as Stenhouse gets to the inside of Danica Patrick. Got a car in trouble. Jeff Green.
Yeah, I heard a blow.
Hard lick on that right front. This could have been the case they had brake heat.
Yeah. That has the makings of a right front going down. Probably melted that bead.
So we saw happen to Darrell Wallace last night in the K&E Series race, where he got in the corner and right front tire just let go because of that bead. These tires just don't take so much heat. The brakes will withstand that a whole lot better than the tire will.
Look at what happened to Jeff Green.
Oh,
wow,
man, that was a hard lick.
It does say Eric McClure over the door. Jeff Green subbing for Eric McClure in that 14 car today as McClure continues to recover from that vicious Talladega crash he had a few weeks ago. And you see the safety workers there with Jeff Green as he takes off the helmet and unbuckles himself after that hard crash.
This team taking another really torn up car back to the shop. That was a hard lick. Looks like Jeff's climbing out.
Yep.
Even though we call this somewhat of a short track at 7/8 mile, you're still carrying a lot of speed down into the fastest part of the racetrack right there, down into turn one. And you're still well over 100 miles per hour at that point.
So good to see Jeff climb from that car. The pit road is closed because of where some of the safety vehicles and safety workers are. Would be a lot where, matter of fact, that ambulance that Jeff Green's about to walk into is where the cars would be driving when they exit the pit lane after pit stop. So they've kept the pit lane closed to allow the safety workers to clear that area before they get the leaders into the pit lane.
You can see that Michael Annett chose to come on down pit road there under the hood of that 43 car. Mike?
Yeah, as you guys can see, the hood is up not too long after that first run started. Michael Annett came over the radio saying that he felt like he was blowing up. Obviously, that isn't the case. What they're doing right now is checking plug wires to see if they can correct the problem. The car is certainly not at full song for Annett, hoping to rectify the situation now. Hood is closed, pins are tightened, and he's away.
Yeah, that's why they would just come down pit road with the pit road closed. The penalty is starting at the back, but this gives them some extra time to work on the car. They're not worried about starting in the back. They need to get the problem fixed.
And I thought I heard in that snippet from the team radio when he left the pit, someone say a plug wire was off. So if they have gotten that remedy, that'll be good.
Well, they have to dig back out of this hole.
Yeah.
Sounds good there.
All right, the pit road's still closed again while the safety workers do their thing over inside of turn number 2. So take a break, come back, see how things shake out from the opening round of pit stops. Under caution for the first time at Iowa, Jeff Green has hit the wall. He has climbed from the car. Back at Iowa Speedway as the pit lane is opened and the leaders come to the pit entrance for the first time. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Michael McDowell, Justin Allgaier, Austin Dillon, Elliott Sadler, the top 5. Shannon.
Well, Michael McDowell making his first start of the season, running second right now. The car is just a little bit tight. 4 tires for the 18. Mike?
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. pretty happy with his race car. A little bit loose on exit, however. They make an air pressure adjustment, also a chassis adjustment, a 4-tire change on the 6. Meanwhile, the 3 of Austin Dillon was very close on fuel. Wasn't sure if he was going to make it around. He did. He'll fill it up with fuel, a track bar adjustment, and 4 tires, Dave.
Justin Allgaier was running third. His car was loose in, tight in the middle, loose off. Looked like they were going to make a track bar adjustment. I'm not sure I saw that. They will make an air pressure adjustment, and he will cruise off pit road in what position, Alan?
Like second.
That's what it'll be. And confirmed. Was waiting to see if Sadler dropped the clutch there and got that scoring line like you can so often do out of that first pit stall. Stenhouse Jr., Allgaier, McDowell, Dillon, and Sadler will be the top 5 for the restart. Their tires for the first time after this round of pit stops. Shannon?
Well, Alan, we've documented Kurt Busch's run to the front from this 43rd position starting. Check out his tires. These just came off the car. These are his right side tires, and you can see the cording on both right side tires. I checked in with general manager Rick Wren. I asked him to explain this, and he said just good old-fashioned hard racing. Now, Mike Beam, the crew chief, did tell me that they set this 54 car up to be very aggressive at the start of the race so that he could get to the front. And Rick Wren said that may have had something to do with it, but Kurt Busch is just driving his heart out.
All right, Shannon, thanks. Housekeeping, Danica Patrick, free pass at that caution. She had just been put a lap down by the leader. She's back on the lead lap. 89 car Morgan Shepherd took a wave around to get back on the lead lap. That sets us with 17 cars on the lead lap as we get ready to wrap up caution number 1. Sam Hornish Jr. led the opening 30 laps. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has led since. Only 1 yellow flag so far. Stenhouse has got Justin Allgaier to his outside as we come down for the restart.
Wait. New leader, the 31.
Yes, it is.
And 4.
Yeah, that's something they'll be paying attention to so far. The car that started on the outside at the beginning of the race and then that restart has taken the lead.
Pretty bold move on the outside on that first lap.
And that 6 car was bobbing around there trying to keep his foot in the gas down the bottom, wasn't he?
He was trying to, but that 31 was on it.
Stenhouse continuing to apply the pressure. Look at this behind him. Double wide, Sadler 2, McDowell 18, Dillon 3, Hornish 12, Kurt Busch 54, and Wallace in the 20.
See Sam Hornish working that outside lane. His car was really good on the start of the race. And he kind of anticipate the start of this run with new tires. He might be that good again. Wow, look at this race for the lead.
Wow. Stenhouse leaves nothing on the track every single lap he drives this race car. It is really fun to watch him wheel this thing.
Elliott Sadler joining in the party, wanting a piece of this lead.
We saw Sadler car was pretty fast at the beginning of this race, even though he didn't get the lead right from the start. But then he fell back. We'll see if the adjustments they were able to make is going to help him as he tries to take this second spot away from Allgaier.
Good little twitch there on that 31. Morgan Shepherd has just driven his car to the garage. While we watch this great racing for second spot.
see that bump down in turn 1. Elliott Sadler's car looked like it almost wanted to clear the ground.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, left front wanted to come off the ground. It's like kind of like you're on a road course going over one of the spots on there that you might encounter. But that's what the drivers do. That's just the most difficult part about this racetrack, is trying to hit that and not upset your car too much, because it upsets it to a certain extent every single lap.
About every time I've used the phrase, here's your first side-by-side, it's come back to Steve Harpin in the 30 and Cole Witt in the 88. I think they've run door-to-door about half this race now. That's from 12th and 13th spots. Brad Sweet behind him in the 38. Mike Bliss in the 44. Danica Patrick in the 7.
Mike Bliss is the first car 1 lap down. He's racing for that lucky dog spot. Should the caution come out? Kind of mixing it up with the lead lap cars.
Danica just got the free pass on the last caution, Mike.
Yeah, and she wasn't too happy with the race car before that last caution. Luckily, she was given the opportunity to come down, make some adjustments, and believe me, they took advantage, making wholesale adjustments. Not only 4 tires and fuel, but also went up around a wedge on the right rear, down around a wedge on the left rear, pulled the spring rubber from the left rear, and also the brakes were chattering, so they taped up some brake ducts trying to get some heat in those brakes, Andy. I would say that's quite a bit of work on pit road.
Yeah, what didn't they do, Mike? They did make some big changes, but it looks like it's working. Run a little bit better this run.
Second place, Sadler 2, Allgaier 31.
Yeah, I was watching this battle. Sadler did a nice job of following the 31 down into turn 1 the last time. Got him a little bit loose and then tried to drive under him. Hadn't been able to make the pass yet. 31 looks pretty stout, Dave.
He has a good car today. In fact, they thought the 5th place qualifying was worse than they should have had. But at the start, you saw Stenhouse taking off. The 31 kind of holding up the pack here. Allgaier complaining to his crew, too free into the corner at the start of this run. And you see Sadler looking low again.
And Austin Dillon taking a peek there also. On board Dillon.
I think Austin's trying to let Elliott Sadler make this pass, not get right on his bumper, them being teammates, and he thinks he could just follow him through there. But Elliott not able to complete the pass.
Well, he's not going to give up on it, but while they race for second place, again, just like in the opening segment of the race, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is driving away from him. The man who's won the last 2 Nationwide Series races at this Iowa Speedway, opening up a 2.5-second gap already since the restart. Newton, Iowa, to the east of Des Moines by about 35 miles, where the beautiful Iowa Speedway is hosting the NASCAR Nationwide Series again today. It's been an action-packed opening, 102 laps. 1 round of pit stops, most of the time out front, has been spent by Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And we welcome you back to the Pioneer 250 at Iowa. Make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. There is the defending series champ, who has spent most of the time out in front of this race. Here is the fight for second spot. It's no longer Elliott Sadler racing Justin Allgaier for that number 2 position, but Austin Dillon.
Yeah, I think Sadler had to cool his tires a little bit after really trying hard to pass Allgaier for second. Now let his teammates see if he can go up there and do it. Yeah, Allgaier's doing a nice job of hanging on. He does have a loose race car. I've seen him a number of times get sideways off the corner, but he's held them off so far.
Nope, big piece of something just blew up on the grill of that 3 car. You see that?
I see something big on the grill.
Like a tear off from another car?
Yeah, that may be difficult to get off.
Yeah, that's big time right there. That's almost blocking the whole grill.
Yeah, I know he wants to pass, but right now he needs to get in behind him.
Let's see if he gets that word over the radio.
Yeah, he's almost going to have to rub that off. I'm not sure that's even going to come off just by getting behind him.
Get out of the way. In forward, just be smooth here.
I'm not sure the team knows that's there unless they're watching our telecast and can see it.
Yeah,
you can see right there. It tried to come off.
Yeah, when he gets right in behind, but he's really going to need to get right on his bumper. What you do in that case, too, is turn your fan off, hope that it comes off, but that is a big piece to get off.
Austin, keep an eye on your water temp here, bud. You got a lot of trash on your grill.
He's going to look down and see that water temp's already up.
Behind that 31, try to get him to pull it off.
The voice of Richard Childress.
A lot of experience there. He knows what it has to do. And I think that Austin told us.
31, you got trash on your front end.
Anytime that one, see, all got really sideways.
He should have still taken advantage of getting up there behind him. He's going to have a problem with this grill and this water temperature if he doesn't do something about it.
Boy, Allgaier had his hands full there.
Yeah, he'd reported having a loose race car.
What's your water temp right there, bud?
I'm getting the hush. I got to get this lap car. Help me out.
Lap car in front of
Make sure
him.
your radiator fan is off. Turn your radiator fan off if it is on.
You saw him reach up and hit the switch there.
Yeah, the reason they're doing that is they want to turn the fan off. It's pulling a suction on that grill opening. They want to turn that off and then try to drive up behind another car, and hopefully that piece will just fall off the grill.
4 car is Darrell Haar. Nope, didn't catch him at the right spot.
Well, that car that slow. Yeah, that car that slow. You know, he's kind of hoping
How
that.
hot are you, Austin?
260.
Yeah, he needs to do something about that.
Yeah, and you noticed that first time when they asked him, he didn't say
If it
anything.
goes any hotter, we're going to have to back off and try to get behind Elliott, let it suck it off, or get behind one of them. Just keep after it. You got to get a big old piece on the grill.
I'm going to have to get back. Somebody come around me.
10-4. Got 3 of them right here, all racing hard together. Come to your outside.
Kurt Busch joining the party.
Now, Austin's best scenario would have been if Elliott could have passed the 31 and got there, and then he could have just lost that 1 spot. But he's having to give up a couple here to try to help this, and may even more get passed by more than that.
No, squeezing down to the inside, Kurt Busch. Michael McDowell coming through.
Yeah, Dillon missed an opportunity there when he was racing with the 31.
There it goes.
Suck right up on that 54 now. It just flew
it's
off.
gone. Yep, he's good now.
All clear. Grill's all clear, bud.
All right, let's go.
Oh, trouble. Danica in the wall.
Yeah. Slow it down. Got one coming there. All right, come on.
Full right front.
Another hard lick. Looks just like that.
Come down to the
Jeff
pit
Green.
stall and we'll just take a hard. Go about 10 away. Make sure you got a brake pedal.
Goodyear engineers reporting to our pit reporters down on pit road that the Jeff Green
Take it
incident
to the garage,
earlier
guys.
was a bead melting. The bead where the tire seals to the rim, and the brake heat sometimes on a short track like this on a long green run will affect it.
That's the weak link in the chain up there on that suspension. You got those brake rotors and calipers and all that stuff is designed to take a tremendous amount of heat. But you've got that limitation of that rubber of that tire can only take so much.
That really didn't seem to be like that many laps, that something like that. But if you're abusing the brakes, it doesn't take that long at all.
It's like a torch up there on that brake rotor. That thing's got 1,500 degrees or more of heat that is trying to dissipate right into the wheel. Man, oh, that was a hard lick. Bad feeling. It's got to be, Dale, when you hit into that wall and nothing you can do.
Terrible. There's absolutely nothing.
Pit road's open, Shannon.
Well, they made a track bar adjustment on the last pit stop, and Kurt Busch said it really killed him, made him loose, so they're going to go back on it in 4 tires. Mike.
Ricky Stenhouse complaining that the car's just a little bit tight. They're going to make a slight air pressure adjustment, take on 4 tires and fuel, Dave.
Second place, Allgaier. Third place, Elliott Sadler. They're both going to take on Sunoco fuel. They're both going to get 4 tires. Sadler's car was tight, rolling the center and on initial throttle. Allgaier's car really loose off, so they'll get separate adjustments to take care of those drivers.
See a little strategy played here. 88 car, Cole Witt, just right side tires.
A lot of crew chiefs paying attention to that move, see how it might have worked.
Stenhouse actually lost 3 spots.
Well, 7 car, pretty badly damaged. Patrick still sitting behind the wheel, but beginning to unbuckle after this, going into turn 3 a minute ago.
Hold the brake there. Stay up high there. Stay up high there. Stay up high there. A little way down there. A little way down. Got
One to go here at Iowa Speedway. Reminder that National League Division leaders battle on baseball's biggest stage. Andre Ethier and the Dodgers look to keep rolling when they host Carlos Beltran and the Cardinals tonight at 8. Then tomorrow night at 7, veteran Chipper Jones and the Braves find themselves in the thick of the NL East race as they take their show on the road to Cincinnati to face Joey Votto and the Reds. Both games available on ESPN, ESPN3, and live on WatchESPN.com and the Watch ESPN app. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell and Monday Night Baseball presented by USAA. Little strategy play has Cole Witt in the lead, Shannon.
Down here with this crew chief, you know a lot of guys are going to be watching to see if 2 tires work. What was the thought process behind that?
We didn't show anywhere on our left sides, and actually we went faster as the run goes, so we didn't slow down at all. So it was kind of no-brainer to me. Let's put right sides on it, try and tighten them up. We're pretty free, so we put right sides on to tighten them up a little bit, try and get some track position first early in the race.
Thanks.
Witt has chosen the inside lane for the restart and gets the jump on Elliott Sadler. Can Sadler lead a lap, get a bonus point for the championship?
I believe so. Made a nice run into turn 3 and off of turn 4 without getting into the wall.
3 wide there. Look out.
Comes Stenhouse to the inside. He wants to go back to the lead.
You clear. 3 wide. 6 cars now inside.
You
Clear,
think?
clear.
Yeah, imagine that for him.
And to the inside of Sadler. That's no contest.
No, he's making it his own little playground here once again.
And Kurt Busch is being pretty aggressive too. He's inside Sam Hornish, driving that car hard in the corner, trying to get a couple spots while these tires are still new.
Yeah, see if tightening that 54 car up will help him this time. I know he came out 7th last time and really didn't make any progress.
Looking inside of Cole Witt for Kurt Busch. Remember, Witt has the older left side tires on the car. Sam Hornish to the outside in the 12.
Kurt Busch kind of got hung up behind Cole Witt.
Kind of showing the nose between him there, coming off out turn 2 last time and saying, okay, one of these lanes has got to open up for me. So Kurt Busch to 6th. McDowell 18 and Brendan Gaughan 33. Haven't called Brendan's number much since the very top of the program.
Yeah, he struggled in that first long green flag run. You see he got a little bit sideways right there. Lost a nose, it actually looked like, coming up out of turn 4.
Because Darrell Wallace in that 20. Looks like that experiment of 2 tires on the right side of that 88 car was probably a mistake.
Well, he picked up 12 spots. He's given 7 of them back and counting. How about Brendan Gaughan's day so far, Dave?
The race is going a lot like practice went for him, Alan. Remember, he's not in these cars full time, and he and crew chief Ernie Cope had a little patience with each other while Brendan got used to the track again to race here. So the race, his car has been mostly loose, and they've been gradually tightening it up, and he's worked his way up, picked cars off. And by the way, he was told that when Cole Witt was kind of holding up that inside line, go take advantage of that. So improving as the day goes on.
Brian Scott slipping underneath Brendan Gaughan there to get that spot before Gaughan can get back to the bottom lane. And Brendan is shuffled to the 11th position. Here's Parker Kligerman in the 22. Young man's had a busy weekend himself. Raced in NASCAR's Camping World Truck Series race down in Charlotte on Friday night. Up here to practice and qualify and race Saturday and Sunday. And for second place, Allgaier 31, Sadler 2.
You've said that quite a bit today.
I have.
Sadler actually still trying to figure out a way around this 31 car.
And pretty fair to say, this has been the best performance we've seen from this 31 and Allgaier so far this season. His best finish this season is a pair of 7th place results. Think about Justin Allgaier and you don't think about no top 5 finishes. Well, maybe he can get one today. He's got a ways to go, though, to try and catch Stenhouse for the win. Down, catching up on what's happened in the first half of today's Nationwide Series event at Iowa. Opening laps, championship contenders, Stenhouse and Sadler, a little bump and bump. But everybody got away cleanly, and Stenhouse has been the dominator of the race so far. The guys that came in from Charlotte, Kurt Busch, Joe Nemechek. Well, Kurt has charged up through the field, all the way to 4th position now. Nemechek started at the back as well. He's running in 20th. He got caught a lap down earlier. A couple of people with right fronts have gone down. Danica Patrick, the most recent.
You can see here going down into turn 3, fast part of the track. Tire lets go. All you can do is hang on as a driver. Out for the day, though.
And Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has done most of the leading in this one. Patrick is in the garage with Mike.
Yeah, and obviously very disappointed, Danica Patrick. A melted beat is what I've been told by the Goodyear officials. What did you feel inside the race car right before that happened?
Nothing. It just blew. So we were pretty tight the first run. That's why we dropped back, and then we fixed it. But I also had a brake vibration from low brake temp. So when they covered up the holes to get it warmer, I just think that we just went too far, obviously. So unfortunately, the Goodyear guys know better than I do. We melted something. So I didn't feel anything before that. It's just I'm bummed out because we were on a good roll and we were having the best short track weekend we'd had yet. Best practice, best qualifying, and you know, we came storming back after having to start at the tail end of the field and got right back up to the leaders or the lead lap cars, and would have been nice to make 1 or 2 more changes on that to go to the end, but these are the things that happen. You can't control it. You got 34 weekends, and they're not all going to go perfect. So I always said that the most important thing for me is, you know, not necessarily just to get to the end or get results, but to be competitive all weekend and to be proving that I can run well. And I think this was one of those weekends where we were running strong. We just couldn't quite close it out.
Pretty disappointed, Danica Patrick, Allen, but as you heard her mention, they did tape up the brake ducts just before that happened. I spoke with her crew chief, Tony Uri Jr., and he said that's probably the reason, probably too much heat in the brakes.
All right, Michael, thank you. And while you watched that, you saw Elliott Sadler go to 2nd place, and Justin Allgaier now sliding back a bit. Kurt Busch by him for 3rd. And Austin Dillon up there to challenge that 31 car. All this going on, a pretty good bit behind race leader Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Allgaier been aggressive today, hasn't he?
Yeah. Dillon that was racing with Allgaier earlier when he picked up that piece of plastic or whatever across the grill of his car. Dropped a few positions while looking to find a way to get that off. Then it blew off. Then the caution came out and his pit crew gained him a few spots back.
Yeah, I really like what I'm watching from Austin Dillon here today. He's doing a nice job managing his car, his tires. Got a fast race car. See what he can do with it as we wind down towards the end here.
Yeah, still just past halfway, so there's a lot of time to get to the front. And I'm like you, Dale. I like the way he's managed the race so far.
Steve Harper and Brad Sweet there for a spot just outside the top 10. Right side of the screen. I've been impressed with Brad Sweet in the just a couple opportunities we've had to see him in the Nationwide Series. He's done a very nice job in this 38 car.
And one thing I've noticed about him is he gets better as the race goes on. He may not start out as fast as you think he's going to be, but he will get better as the race goes. He in California wasn't all that fast at the beginning, but at the end of the race, he was really picking off spot.
Yeah, because I watched him earlier in this race. He looked like he was totally out of control, and I don't know if it's just him adjusting his driving. I'm sure that's probably some of it, and then getting some information to his crew, and they're making his car better. But as you're exactly right, Andy, he does learn and seem to pick up as the race goes on.
It's like Dillon finally made the pass on Allgaier.
Now see if he can set sail and track down Kurt Busch, who's next in line ahead of his 3 car. Well, top 2 in the Nationwide Series Championship are in the top 2 positions in this race. Elliott Sadler is second, but he's almost 4 seconds behind Ricky Stenhouse Jr., the race leader, trying to make it 3 wins in a row at the Iowa Speedway. He's got some time yet to go. Back at Iowa Speedway, 75 laps to go in today's NASCAR Nationwide Series Pioneer 250. Sam Hornish Jr. pictured here because he's just come off pit road for an unscheduled green flag stop. Mike?
Yeah, and they just did normal service, 4 tires and fuel, also a wedge adjustment. The problem, though, they had a very slow stop, got caught up on the right front. That halted them for a moment or two, and they got off pit road in about 16 seconds, a little bit slower than they anticipated, Alan.
Yeah, and I'd be very curious to get a look at the tires that came off that car for the 12, because he had dropped back quite a bit just before that pit stop.
There's your answer, Alan. That tire there is into the cord.
There you go. I thought that's what I saw from up here come off the car, but we're a little bit away, so.
Yeah, that's a good feel by the driver, because the next thing is going to happen is that's going to blow out and we're going to have another caution.
Drops Hornish back to 22nd place, 2 laps down to the race leader. So seeing that up and down pit road, that'll give crew chief something to think about. Oh, let's say like Michael McDowell's team.
I think we should short pit. Feel like the tires are coarse. We'll just wait to see what that 6 does.
10-4. We'll get you in as soon as we can. You just feel it out. Your lap times are smoking compared to the field.
Yeah, I'd worry about that, though. I don't know if I'd want to try to stay out there as long as somebody else. I'd have him in. I think that might be a mistake to push it.
The only thing is, this 18 car, his car doesn't give up on these longer runs as much as everyone else, unless they're seeing a real issue in what they've taken off, because he's moved his way all the way to that 3rd spot right now.
2 things I'll give you to follow up on. You guys take this wherever you want. First of all, if that's your driver telling you he feels like those tires might be cording, that would raise an alarm on top of, oh, got a car in trouble. Taylor Malsom.
There's the right front.
That was where I was going, is you also know we've had a long green run, and you're expecting somebody else to have a problem and bring out a caution.
Yeah, but you don't want it to be your car. And that's too bad for Taylor Malsom. He had a good run going most of the day. He was up in the lead lap for most of the race. Another hard lick.
Yeah, this one's on the exit of the corner, and as bad as it is going in, you're wide open in the throttle most of the time coming out of the corner. And when that tire blows, you're immediately into the wall.
Taylor was running in 15th place, a lap down to the race leaders, and continues kind of a run of difficult luck that this team has had. They started the season off so well at Daytona, and the first few weeks of the season, and the last few, have been filled with bad luck for Malsom.
We'll have to see if Kurt Busch now is able to make adjustments that are needed to his car to give Ricky Stenhouse any challenge at all, because we really don't see anybody else making those adjustments that can keep up and have the speed and the longevity put together to challenge him so far.
Pit road closed because of where Malsom's car has come to rest, which is at the bottom side of turn number 2, where the cars will drive through when they exit after the pit stop. So NASCAR keeping the pit road closed for a moment. You see Taylor has climbed and walked from his car, which is certainly good news. The adjustment that Kurt Busch might have needed, just the caution flag to erase that 4-second gap to get him up there with a shot.
Yeah, when I was looking at lap time wise, he's just about as good as Stenhouse, so this will erase that gap.
Yeah,
and he can go after him.
But was Stenhouse giving it everything he has? Because he had him a nice little cushion there, not taking any chances with his tires.
Stand by, we'll find out.
I'm sure we'll see what all he's got here shortly.
33 car, Brendan Gaughan, first car a lap down. He'll get the free pass on the caution here. 12th place car. And the pit lane will be open this time. Big stop for the 54 team, Shannon.
It sure is, and they have got to tighten this car up. Kurt Busch is calling for a track bar adjustment. You see that wrench in the back window. They're also going to make an air pressure adjustment on this 54 car. You see Michael McDowell in the 18 car, bottom left of your screen. He said, guys, we've got to get this car right for the final run, which means tightening it up. He believes he may have ported the tires. Mike.
Ricky Stenhouse saying the car's loose in, loose off. They'll make a wedge adjustment, 4 tires, and a load of Sunoco race fuel on the 6. He's away, Dave.
With the Sunoco fuel they're putting into Elliott Sadler, that will take him till the end of the race. He gives up 4th position for 4 tires. He says, my car is still tight, rolling the center and getting off of the corner. So they'll make an air pressure adjustment to try to help that. Stenhouse, Busch, and McDowell go by.
It was close, but Stenhouse will hold the lead. But again, that 4+ second advantage Stenhouse had over Kurt Busch is now gone.
Yeah, and the next thing that we'll see is which lane will Ricky Stenhouse choose on this restart, the inside or the outside.
There's your order for the restart, 6:54. Nice job by the pit crew to hold the lead. Can Stenhouse hold the lead on the track after the restart? Still under caution here at Iowa Speedway. Reminder that National League Division leaders battle on baseball's biggest stage as the Dodgers look to keep rolling when they host the Cardinals tonight at 8, then tomorrow night at 7. It's the Braves in the thick of the NL East race, taking their show on the road to Cincinnati to face the Reds. Both games available on ESPN, ESPN3, and live on WatchESPN.com and the Watch ESPN app. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell and Monday Night Baseball presented by USAA. So pit stops have occurred under what is the 3rd caution of the race here at Iowa Speedway, erasing a 4+ second lead Ricky Stenhouse Jr. had over Kurt Busch. Pit stops proving the turning point of the race for Michael McDowell, who is going to the back of the line in that 18 car, too fast, entering pit road.
He has to go all the way back behind the lap cars too, so this could be a big penalty.
Yeah, and he'd come out in 3rd spot. It's just very unfortunate. He's done a great job all day driving this race car.
Mike Bliss also tagged for too fast entering pit road. He had gotten back on the lead lap at the prior caution. And Mike is going to be shown back in 15th position for the moment. So, doubling up for the restart. Where's Stenhouse going to choose, inside or outside?
I think I'm going to give it a shot on the outside. We ain't done that yet. Seems to pay off.
Yeah, I think so too. You with that speedy drop there, the 31 got a good bite there. So let's start at the top.
Yeah, I thought that might be the case. He actually got passed on one of the restarts by starting on the inside. So believe this is the right call. We'll soon see.
62 laps to go when the green flag waves. A look at the restart order for you. 3 cars took the wave around. Jeremy Clements, Sam Hornish, and Eric Darnell took wave arounds. Does not get any of them back on the lead lap. 62 to go.
Green.
Kurt Busch slides in front.
Kurt Busch was ready to go on that start. He anticipated that start from Stenhouse, and that motor in that 54 car really took over from there.
Stenhouse not going to have much of that for long, though.
That's what I was thinking. How about Sadler with a little look at 3 wide?
And I think Ricky Stenhouse spotter hollered that there might be a car looking inside of him. He backed out of the gas a little bit. Coming back to the inside once again.
Kurt Busch got real loose
way
on the high side.
Now he's got to fight for 3rd.
Yeah, Kurt drove it in really hard, hit one of those bumps and got really pretty sideways.
And up the track again. Well, we heard Shannon's report on the pit stops. They were making adjustments to try and give Kurt what he felt he needed to deal with Stenhouse.
Yeah, that was to tighten him up some, I believe, if I remember correct. And they may have gone a little bit too far here, and the car just not turning the center of the corner now.
They are 4 wide at times in this group on the right side of the picture. Darrell Wallace in the 12 is in 20 rather is in 10th place. Sam Hornish is trying to get himself in position for the free pass. He's the first car a lap down. The guy he's racing to stay the first car a lap down is the 43 of Michael Annett and the 30 of Steve Arpin.
I'm trying to watch that battle, but watch this battle with Austin Dillon, Justin Allgaier, and Kurt Busch. Got racing all over this track.
And with enough intensity to make you believe we've not seen the last of the yellow flag.
Yeah, Kurt Busch was able to finally settle down a little bit and get his car right. He's got the 3rd spot, but he's put himself almost 2.5 seconds behind Ricky Stenhouse Jr. now. That could be an issue in trying to make up that if we don't have another caution.
Say this is probably the most aggressive race we've seen Austin Dillon drive in this 3 so far this season.
It does seem like he's asserting himself a little bit more today.
Yeah, and some of that probably has to do with being a little bit familiar with this racetrack in this car here. Won a truck race here, so you get that. You get a little bit more confident about what you can and can't do with your car and your abilities.
Ooh, little bobble there, 31.
I've seen that a lot today. Yeah. He's done a great job of holding over this car.
Well, we've run 197 laps. I think Allgaier has been side by side with somebody about half of those.
Yeah. It's going to slide back to 5th here. Austin Dillon up to Elliott Sadler is 2nd. But he's behind the man who's dominated this race so far, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Stenhouse won 2 races here last year, led a combined 66 laps in the 2 wins. He's led 157 in this 1 race today. Speedway caution is out. That's Travis Pastrana you're looking at, trying to find a way to refire his powerless race car.
Having a hard time figuring out what's wrong. It's got plenty of juice in the battery. We can hear the engine spinning over, but it just won't fire off. Mike, what's going on with that 99? You got any insight?
Yeah, no voltage. That's been the problem. Scott Zipadelli has been radioing back and forth. They've been trying to diagnose exactly what's been going on. All Travis can tell him is that he knows it's electrical. It seemed like Scott Zipadelli may have speculated that he may have hit the kill switch, but he asked him to look at that. No determination whether or not that was the case, however, but obviously he's on pit road. They're still trying to figure it out.
Well, he's obviously got power in the battery. He doesn't have voltage going to the right place, though. That's up to the distributor. Still could be a fuel.
Check all your electrical connections. Make sure something didn't come unplugged in the distributor or something.
Very few of the leaders have pitted. 5th place Justin Allgaier comes in, along with Brendan Gaughan and Michael McDowell.
There's only 12 cars on the lead lap. Dave, the 31's in.
Well, and this sets up the possibility that late in the race, when everyone else comes in, he might stay out for a little track position. He'll take 4 fresh tires right now. They'll put 1 can of Sunoco fuel in. At this point, he couldn't have won the race with this setup because it's too loose off at the start, although they did fix the center just a bit for Allgaier.
Allgaier's crew chief Jimmy Elledge not afraid to take a gamble on an alternate strategy.
Well, they didn't have a car to win, so why not? Give it a shot.
So yellow flag number 4 out after Travis Pastrana's car lost power and stopped on the racetrack. The final 45 laps upcoming. Ready for the restart at Iowa. That'll come with 43 laps to go. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has chosen the inside lane. Elliott Sadler's to his outside lane.
Stenhouse spinning the tires trying to get going. Kurt Busch trying to take advantage of that.
3 wide. Seeing that 18 car there in the middle of that pack, Michael McDowell, remember the speeding penalty a little while ago, took him from 3rd to 12th. They came in and pitted under this caution. And McDowell has been moving.
Well, a big wiggle there by Darrell Wallace in that 20 car. He's able to hold on to it. It's like he's extremely loose right now, though.
Lead lap, 10th place. Giving that spot up to Brendan Gaughan, 33, also on the lead lap. 43, Michael Annette's the first car, 1 lap down. There's McDowell inside of Brad Sweet. That's for 7th and 8th places. And now the 22 of Kligerman is in 6th. Remember, fresher tires on the 18 and the 31.
Yeah, this could possibly pay off big dividends for Michael McDowell. He's able to rebound from that speeding penalty. He's got fresher tires than these guys in front of him. See how that works out. His car's been really good on long runs.
Allgaier gave up the 5th spot to come get tires. He's back up to 8th place now.
And again, the gamble for them is if the caution comes out again, they've used up all the fresh tires they would have in the pits. They've pitted 4 times now.
Well, they'd rather take the track position anyway if the caution happens to come out now. They'd want to stay out with those fresher tires. It'd make it even more advantageous. That's the right time to use them if you were going to use those tires.
I'm watching here as we go back up front. Elliott Sadler, you can see him on the bottom there in 1 and 2, but he's been using a higher line down here in 3 and 4, and he's been able to catch Kurt Busch. So he gets a nice run off the corner. Going to get right to his bumper.
2nd place here. By the way, Travis Pastrana's car went to the garage. They were not able to get the 99 refire. New 2nd place runner.
For the minute.
Well, hang on.
Yeah, Sadler tried to make that. It drove into turn 3 a little bit hard, and the bottom hasn't been where he was running. Comes back on the high side here, and probably now will make the pass, especially as they get off of turn 4.
Allgaier and Cole Witt for a spot there. Right side of the screen while we watch the race for 2nd.
Yeah, Cole Witt, this 88, made a nice rebound. They tried that 2-tire experiment earlier. Got the lead, but boy, it didn't work. He went back in a hurry.
We're talking about Michael McDowell. He's been the fastest car on the track the last couple of laps. He's beaten the leader by about a 1/10 of a second.
Well, let's talk about that leader for a second. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Think about it. They've had some challenges during the course of the day, right? They had the 1 set of pit stops where they got shuffled back to about 3rd or 4th. He went 3 wide and worked his way back to the front quickly. He had the challenge from Elliott Sadler a couple times on a restart. Challenged by Kurt Busch on a restart. Has given up the lead a couple of times, but only briefly. They have just kept pushing back to the front.
That car is just so fast. It doesn't matter what challenge they keep throwing in front of him. He can overcome it.
Yeah, we heard them talk earlier about that even though they won the 2 races here last year, they didn't dominate. Well, they made up for that today. We'll see if he can carry this domination to victory lane.
And remember, that 6 car was scraped up in practice yesterday morning. They had to rebuild the right side. It's just fine so far, thank you. And Stenhouse has opened up a 1.7-second lead on second place Elliott Sadler. With 31 laps to go, trying for 3 straight at the Iowa Speedway in the Nationwide Series.
NASCAR Nationwide Series at Iowa is brought to you by Carfax. Just say, show me the Carfax. Ask your dealer or go to Carfax.com. And Touch of Gray. Get the best of both worlds.
We are in Newton, Iowa today at the Iowa Speedway, where Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has dominated this NASCAR Nationwide Series race. That makes it sound easier than it's been. He's had to work very hard to fend off challenges on several occasions. But as the long runs, or as the runs get long, that's the end result you see. It is the 6 moving away from whoever's in second place. Impressive recovery for Michael McDowell in the 18.
Yeah, he's done a really nice job of battling back here. They decided to make a pit stop under that last caution, getting fresh tires on there, and he's battled his way back up to 4th.
Make a big difference, too. I've looked at this monitor of about, I would say the last 10 laps, he's had 8 of them as the fastest car on the track.
Remember, McDowell had the pit road speeding penalty back at lap 183, went from 3rd to 12th at the time. That's the hole he's trying to dig back out of. Travis Pastrana has just returned to the race. 22 laps down in 27th spot. What was the diagnosis, Mike?
Yeah, as we mentioned when he first pulled down pit road, he thought it was an electrical problem. Scott Cipollone checked just about everything he could. They pulled it into the garage and they diagnosed it as a broken fuel line. They've obviously remedied that and returned to the racetrack.
Well, Travis was saying from behind the wheel it wasn't getting fuel.
Yeah, and every time I thought it was electrical, it was fuel related, and every time it was I thought it was fuel, it was electrical. So
yeah.
That's not just a rookie there that couldn't tell exactly what it was. That's hard to diagnose inside the car.
Hey, it's hard to diagnose outside the car too.
Yep. Well, he's back out there getting a little more experience. He's done a nice job today.
He really has, yeah. He's run well. So making some passes, making competitive passes, and did well until he had that issue.
And now Travis learns the hard part about NASCAR, going back out onto the racetrack when you're many laps down, having to race hard but not get in anybody's way either. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has raced hard today, and most of it's been out in front in the lead. Check that out. Most laps he's ever led in a single Nationwide Series race. Prior high was 189 at Lucas Oil Raceway in Indianapolis back last July. Here we are again with Stenhouse and Sadler. And we've said their names together a lot this Nationwide Series season so far. But they are the 2 top contenders for the championship, each having scored 2 wins already this season, this young season. And you look at the momentum swing where the championship is concerned over the last half dozen races. Sadler had the 25-point lead after Bristol. Now it's Stenhouse Jr. with a 23-point lead after Darlington. And you can think back, Sadler, the restart incident at Darlington last Friday that cost him a chunk of ground. For Stenhouse, he was one of those guys in that last corner crash at Daytona when he was going to finish 3rd, 4th in the Daytona race and never made it back to the finish line and finished 19th.
Yeah, it's really Stenhouse's only hiccup of the entire season. Yeah, he's been right around the top 5. He's had all top 10s except for that, so it's just been very impressive. But, the difference really is what Elliott lost last week. That's the difference in the points difference. And we've got a lot of racing to do, but Stenhouse is sure going to make it tough on Sadler to try to catch up in if he's going to run like this all year.
He's closing in slightly, Dave.
And I was going to ask DJ, Allen, you've got a car that is so good, but there's one guy better than you today. How does that feel when you're behind the wheel?
Well, it's good and bad, Dave. It's great that your car is that good, but you're doing everything you possibly can to try to close that difference, and it's just not happening here today.
Seems like there's always somebody better, no matter what it is.
Frustrating business, isn't it?
Yeah. Talking about somebody better, that Michael McDowell still making really good laps. He's made up about a second on the lead. Even though he's back in 4th spot, he's cut a second for that lead that Stenhouse had.
I thought Sadler was making kind of a run at Stenhouse there. He kind of changed his line, but he's fallen back now to where he's back about where he was. He had about 6 or 7 laps that he was quicker, but McDowell's doing a nice job here. It's just been very impressive to watch him drive this car.
Kurt Busch there, 54. Remember, he started at the back of the field. Worked his way up, was second on this most recent restart. The restart before, I'm sorry. Got the lead briefly. Then car went way wide on him in 1 and 2. He fell back to third, and that is where he remains at this point. But still, back to the front for Kurt Busch. For never having raced at this track before. He'd run a test session here a few years ago when NASCAR was preparing to switch to the car of tomorrow in the Sprint Cup Series. But he'd never run a race here before.
He's got a lot of talent, so he learns pretty quickly. But it took a lot for him to make the effort to get here yesterday, get in as many laps as he could before he had to get back to Charlotte. There wasn't a lot of practice time here yesterday, but he learned a lot, and he's had to learn throughout this entire day. He's done a nice job.
See his progression. He's done well, but he got most of those positions early in the race, but the last few took a little while. He's still in position, though. The caution comes out, he'll have a shot at it. I'm sure Mike McDowell wouldn't have the best shot right now if the caution came out.
It has been a day where on longer green flag runs we have seen some teams with some difficulties on the right front corner of their car. Brake heat affecting the right front tire. Danica Patrick had a crash earlier. Jeff Green had a crash earlier in that situation.
Taylor Lawson, too, hit the wall really hard.
Yep.
And I've seen Stenhouse catch some traffic in not the best areas that has slowed him down a little bit, and this lead has been cut down to 1.2 seconds now.
Been a pretty strong day for this 6 team, Mike.
It has indeed, but it's not over yet. 8 laps remain, and Ricky Stenhouse radioing in that the car is getting looser and looser and looser. Meanwhile, his spotter telling him simply, keep it off the wall.
Yeah.
Well, the only problem that he could have is if he's run that right rear tire completely off of it. When that thing goes, it can really go in a hurry, and you can start losing 3 4/10 a lap.
Watching this race for second between Elliott Sadler 2 and Kurt Busch 54, Shannon.
Kurt Busch just radioed into his crew and he said the engine is starting to lay down. Maybe you guys can tell us what's going on in there.
Well, it looks like he's running pretty good to me. I don't know. He might be feeling something in there. It tells him that it is, but it's still pretty competitive. You can see he's losing a little ground on the straightaway, though, to Elliott.
Yeah, it'd be a shame if he doesn't get to the checkers.
He looks in his mirror, he's going to see the 18 car coming at him pretty fast, too.
The team has done a nice job in this race today. 5 laps to go.
I'm not so sure Kurt Busch isn't right about his cars. I watched it down the straightaway. He's able to
got a car
over and
up the track in 1 and 2. Brendan Gaughan was 1. TJ Bell another. Both kept it off the wall. And we stay green.
I'm going to the garage.
That was TJ Bell's voice. You ever have a track that just was your track? You got there and you felt good right away and you just everything clicked?
Oh, it was always fun whenever you had places that you really look forward to going and racing on. And obviously Ricky Stenhouse wishes there were more than 2 races here a year.
Stenhouse putting a lap on Joe Nemechek in the 87, winning both of last year's races at this Iowa Speedway. Remember the race last August? He was leading coming off turn 4 when the engine let go in that 6 car. Carl Edwards came roaring up on him and couldn't see from the oil spray and ran into him instead of around him and pushed Stenhouse across the finish line for the win.
Well, it's less than a second lead. As you can see, Elliott Sadler's closed in even more now.
And we are coming to the white this time.
A little too late, though, to make a big charge.
You got to get it to the checkered flag, though. Here it is, final lap. One more time around for Stenhouse. Oh, there's trouble in turn 1. Michael McDowell and Kurt Busch have tangled. What a power slide by Kurt Busch.
I'm telling you, that was a big save.
No trouble for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. for the third race in a row at the Iowa Speedway. Stenhouse to the checkered flag first.
Way to go, guys. Way to go. Awesome job, man. Proud.
Oh, Sam Hornish, trouble on the final lap.
I think he blew maybe a right front tire on that last lap.
See the 38 of Brad Sweet barely getting across the start-finish line, too.
And Sam Hornish came across 12 on the lead lap.
Well, what a drive. What a performance. I walked into the garage area yesterday, and the right side of this car was white as the team was finishing rebuilding the right side after the contact with the wall they had in the morning practice. Not only did they put it back together, they re-decaled it and put it into perfect condition to dominate this race. Pretty big effort by Team 6, Mike.
I would say you mentioned all the work they had to do after pancaking the right side in practice. Lots of work. It certainly paid off this afternoon. When you think back to the first time you came to this racetrack with Ricky, how much has this team come? How far have they come in terms of their ability and their performance here?
Man, it's just been an unbelievable run here, especially here at Iowa. You know, it's been a great place for us. It was pretty tough here a couple years ago. We went through a lot of cars, and the last 3 times to come here and the talent level the kids bring into us is unbelievable. And we couldn't do it without our sponsors and Ford and all the guys back at the shop, Robbie and Wayne Gaudette. And they're building us great race cars. It's got great horsepower from Doug and the Roush Yates horsepower and Cargill beef, man. We're going to have some steaks tonight for sure.
A big celebration in the 6 camp tonight for sure. As you mentioned, Alan, lots of work on the 6 car earlier in the weekend, but they never got flustered. Always poised and back in victory lane.
And this full grandstand at Iowa Speedway saluting the race winner as he celebrates. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. with another Iowa Speedway win. Now, let's clean up some details from the final lap, shall we?
Got kind of crazy.
Kurt Busch and Michael McDowell racing for 3rd spot down into turn number 1. McDowell in the 18.
Yeah, Michael got him pretty good, but look at this save. This is incredible.
It was unbelievable by Kurt Busch to hang on there, come back and still finish 5th.
Very bottom here, slipper corner, clear. Come on, stay in it, come on inside here, inside. The room behind the 3, coming to the checker here. Come on.
McDowell went to have a word with Kurt.
Yeah, I'm not sure Kurt didn't have a little issue getting down in the corner. I could hear it from that onboard. It almost sounded like he was wheel hopping the rear tires or something, driving in the corner a little bit too deep. No, maybe that's what happened.
Kurt finished 5th. McDowell finished 3rd. Let's hear from some of the top finishers before Stenhouse gets the victory lane. Shannon?
Well, let's check in with that top 5 finisher, Kurt Busch. I think one word we can use to explain your race is eventful. Obviously, starting in the back, you led for a bit, and then what happened on that last lap?
Yeah, we had a lot of fun today. I mean, just racing hard, and Stenhouse, man, he did a good job today. The kid's getting really good, and, you know, with Elliott Sadler, those two are really mastering these cars well, and for us, that's a big step to be in contention with this Monster Energy car. You know, we started off the season not anywhere close, so it's great to sniff the lead, be close to it, and just missing just a couple little components. And then at the end, my weak spot was turn 1, loose getting in there all day, and McDowell got down in there. I was trying to hold him off, and that's what racing's all about. You know, 2 guys got together. Yeah, we got the short end of the stick, but I don't care. You know, I hate wrecked cars or beat up stuff, but you know, Kyle would be proud of the run we had today, and, you know, he might have been able to do better with his experience with these cars, and that's where I'm learning each time out. So just thanks to Monster, Toyota, all these guys that keep working hard. I'm happy to drive for my brother. This is a lot of fun. We're a single-car team, but it's like we got 2 champion drivers driving this car, so we got to be teammates together.
It was fun watching him today. And guys, remember, this was his very first race here at Iowa. Alan?
5th place for today, and a nice save on that last lap by Kurt Busch.
Sir.
We'll hear from more of the other top finishers after we check in with the race winner in Victory Lane.
Stenhouse now getting a bottle of water and cooling off a little bit in his race car as he's about to emerge in Victory Lane. Once again, a winner here in Iowa. Still collecting his thoughts and getting a glass of water. Emerges from the window, and the team celebrates. Ricky Stenhouse congratulating his team, taking the congratulatory high fives all the way around, and once again back in Victory Lane here in Iowa. We've described it as a dominant run today. How would you describe it?
That was dominant right there, man. This Cargill Beef Mustang, these guys work so hard in the shop, making these things as light as we can, as best we can, and they've done a great job. Glad we had enough Valvoline next gen oil in this thing, man. This thing was running hot there. The rubber was getting on the grill, so it was slowing us down a little bit with the temperature. But all in all, great day. 3 in a row here at Iowa. I can't believe we got 2 in a row and now 3. So it's a great day. Got to thank Noss, Cargill, man. They've stepped up this year and really done a lot for us. Nationwide Insurance, Oakley, Simpson, just man, this one was fun. I like dominating those races.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
With the victory, Allen, he stretches out his championship lead.
3rd win of the season for Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
What about the event?
3 straight at Iowa, 5th career win overall, and equal the track record for most laps led in a nationwide series race today. 209 laps he led. Kyle Busch also did that in July of 2010. Stenhouse Jr., the winner. More post-race interviews coming up from the Iowa Speedway. Fans filing out. Post-race duties continue for the race winner Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Today at the Iowa Speedway. Mike Massaro is with Travis Pastrana.
Yeah, and a broken fuel line relegated Travis to a 26th place finish. Obviously not the result you were looking for, but now you've got a few nationwide starts under your belt. Do you feel like you're getting a bit of a rhythm?
Oh, definitely. Qualifying was a lot better. It was 10 better than our best qualifying before, starting 15th. We're going to go do some tests. I like to drive the car a little bit loose, and we were tight the last 2 races, so we got a lot to learn, but I think we can get there.
All right, well, good run. We wish you best of luck in your next outing. Dave Burns?
Justin Allgaier comes home 6th today, and I kind of had your car on either side of tight and loose. What were you fighting most?
Yes, all of the above. We struggled to keep up with the adjustments for whatever reason. Brent Chevy was really, really good. Long run, but short run, we just didn't seem to have the speed we wanted. But all in all, I mean, I think we had great pit stops all day. The crew did an awesome job. And how about that race? We got to figure out how to beat Ricky, though. I don't know. He's doing a great job, so congrats to Ricky and his whole team. But just got to thank Brant and Nationwide Insurance and everybody that's a part of this deal, because the fans here in Iowa, they come out in droves. It's one of the best races we come to, so thank the fans for coming out, because every time we come to Iowa, we're always pumped up. So hopefully we can come back and beat Ricky the next time.
Solid run for Justin today.
Allgaier with a 6th place effort today, and some final thoughts on what you watched at Iowa Speedway today. Stenhouse was impressive.
Once again, impressive. I mean, this was obviously the most impressive of the 3 victories that he's had here, but a great race all in all. I mean, we saw a lot of battling, and when Rusty Wallace built this place, that's what he had in mind, a lot of side-by-side racing.
Yeah, he did, but that's going to put some teams to work. There's a lot of teams down there that need to figure out what this 6th team's doing and try to catch up when they come back here for the next one.
Stenhouse led 209 of the 250 laps today, was challenged quite hard by both Elliott Sadler and Kurt Busch, but in the end managed to hold on for the win and score his 3rd straight victory at this racetrack and extend his lead in the NASCAR Nationwide Series Championship. And an impressive full house today at the Iowa Speedway. Once again, the grandstand's full. Congratulations to the track on that. So next week, it's on to Charlotte for the NASCAR Nationwide Series, the History 300, 2:30 Eastern on ABC, and Sports Center is next. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. So long from Iowa.